Hello YouTube, I'm back with an update for you guys today. It's gonna be over the PvP changes that's coming up next reset. I'm gonna try and make it short, quick, and very informative, give you my opinion, and go over it one by one. Let's get into it. Alright guys, it says here class tuning incoming 23rd of August. Starts here with the classes. Guardian, this is PvE section. Guardian getting adjustments, doesn't impact PvP much. I-beam is no longer interrupted by school lockout effects. This is crazy change for Havoc and PvP, because how Havoc works is that they get insane damage bonus every time they cast I-beam fully. This is why everybody has trying to counter them and kick that I-beam every time and like knock down their damage by a lot. And that change is gonna make Havoc crazy good. I think it's a good change. I think it will help Havoc overall. Havoc needed it. Been struggling a bit behind the other classes, but not much. It's been viable. It's been played. I play against it. It's really strong still. Good change because you can only stop it with stuns, CCs now. You can still stop it, but you cannot just interrupt it constantly. So good change. Vengeance change does not matter in PvP much. You have some PvE nerfs here for mage. Flame strike damage reduced, patch. It's mostly PvE abilities, so it's not going to impact mage almost at all. Mistweaver getting buffed. You have Ancient Teachings now transfers 150% of the damage, was 135. It's a PvE as well. The rest is both PvE and PvP though. Involving Breath, Healing decreased. You have Chica Con Absorb buffed, and Yolan's Grace now is stack up to 15% health. A good change, I would say. Paladin damaging decreased by 10%. This does not make sense for PvP because Paladins don't really do that much damage. It's a PvE change intended for PvE. You can tell. Blessing of Summer also does not much. Yeah, it's not even changed in PvP, as you can see. So it's only PvE changes here. Now the big changes starts here. Assassination getting buffed on all abilities. That's really crazy. 5% on auto attack damage. That's huge. Usually when like you see all abilities damage increase, that's a big buff. So I'm expecting Asa to make a comeback to the meta with sub, or besides sub being like the best melee in my opinion with mage right now. Asa comps is gonna dominate probably, or be really good. Something like Apple Asa, maybe something like Asa Log, Asa Mage, Asa everything probably, but we'll see. Really big buffs for Assassination here. Protection, that's a PvE change. Now here it is, guys, here it is. Death Knight PvP, Necrotic Aura now increases magic damage taken by 4% instead of 8%. So when I first saw this change yesterday, I was like, DK is getting nerfed every weekend. That's very unfair. We keep getting nerfed and nerfed and nerfed, and it's always 50% nerf, like from 8 to 4, for example, or like from 100 to 50%. It's always been 50% nerfs consistently. I hope Blizzard does not over nerf DK, because at this point it's very risky for DK to be even like good. But then I was rethinking the situation. I think how they intended this nerf, or why they choose to nerf this, is to target the Double Dragon DK that won the AVC tournament on NA. That comp was doing a lot of AoE damage, and the DK is contributing with Necrotic Aura, giving everybody that damage. I think it's targeting like spellcasters playing with DK more than DK by itself, like Boomy DK, Augmentation DK, any like caster DK, but it still hits DK. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna drop Necrotic Aura, we're gonna play Apocalypse or Strangulate. I got rank 1 playing Apocalypse without Necrotic Aura, rank 1 world, so I think it's still not a big deal for us. And Holy is going to remain in the same spot probably, or a little bit worse damage-wise with like casters comps, melee comps, or double melee comps with double cleave. Still going to be really good in my opinion, or as good as it used to be. Now we see some frost buffs here. The frost buffs is tricky because I feel like Blizzard does not understand that they over-nerfed Pillar of Frost, and they are trying to buff the sustain, but Frost does not work like that. Frost DK is setup based spec, and when they nerfed the Pillar of Frost intending to buff DK by buffing the sustain damage, that made DK way worse in my opinion, or Frost DK way worse. And now they've been trying to buff the consistent damage with Dead of Winter, Frost Fever, Frost Strike, but that does not help Frost almost at all. This is like really low numbers. The abilities does not have any contribution to the playstyle of DK. All the abilities they buffed is out of the go abilities. So it's abilities we use when we are building up, but not when we are doing the go as much. I mean, Remorseless Winter would be up on the go, but it's not the main damage source by any means. It's far from that. So little buffs on Frost, I don't think it's going to help at all, honestly. I think Frost will still be the worst spec in the game, arguably. But yeah, we'll test it out on the stream, of course. This is for DK. We move on to Havoc. Chaos Strike Annihilation damage is now increased by 10% in PvP. That's crazy. Havoc is gonna make a comeback for sure. Ninjantis is gonna be brought back to the battle. I'm gonna bring back my DH and start playing it now, practicing and grinding for ABC or next ABC. It's gonna be one of my collection. I-beam damage is no longer increased in PvP. Combat was increased by 60%. So this is fair because you cannot interrupt I-beam and they don't want you to get much initial damage. But I think this is a bigger buff than the initial damage of the I-beam, because I-beam initial damage was not the problem. It was the damage afterwards. They get buffed. They get that buff from the set afterwards if they finished I-beam. Now we cannot kick it, so we're gonna see more damage from Havoc for sure. Isolated Prey talent no longer has reduced the duration. This is also a buff. Soul Rend, basically it's full of buffs, almost everything. Essence Break damage now reduced by 10%, was reduced by 20, so that's a 10% buff as well. Havoc, Ninjantis, we're back. So next would be Boomkin. Moon and Stars now reduces the interrupt and silences by 50% for 6 seconds. It was 70 for 10, so that's a nerf for Boomkin. Now they get interrupted for longer and they struggle more with the interrupt. Ooh, very good change, well needed. Honestly, even the DK change is like for Necrotic Aura is good change, I would say, for the game. And I love Blizzard's approach. I just don't want it to be very unfair for DK. I don't want to sound biased, but DK for the past 3 years has been struggling and getting nerfed and almost not viable. Had some good seasons, but mostly like very bad class. So I'm hoping this expansion or this season would be different for DK. But overall, the approach from Blizzard is little buffs, little nerfs, keep stabilizing the meta and see where it goes. Make sure to not over nerf, not over buff, and have a great balance. And I love that approach. I'm gonna actually tweet at them after this and tell them that it's an appreciation tweet for the changes and how they are approaching the changes long term, because I think that will give us the best balance that WoW never had, or WoW PvP never had before. We could reach that point. We're not there yet. But I love the approach. Some might disagree, but I think Blizzard is doing a great job here with the changes. Balance adjustment for the interrupts is good for the clones, it's good for the damage. They've been overperforming a bit. Now this is the Augmentation nerf slaughtery. Verdant Embrace healing decreased by 25%. They're basically getting nerfs on all the heals and support they have, so they cannot extend the game as much, but their damage is still there. So I wouldn't count them out yet, but I was planning to practice Augmentation for ABC. Right now I'm gonna swap it to DH instead and my Warrior, considering like the change, considering the changes. Evo Might is now effective, 80% effective. Evo Might now increases the augmentation damage by 30%. So they're giving them more damage, but they support less, and they heal less, and they extend the game less. And it states here as well, like the devs left a note. They don't want the game to be very extended with augmentation, and I agree. That's really good for the meta, really good for the for how fun it is. That way, it's more fun. But yeah, I wouldn't count augmentation out, but for now, I'm gonna get it out of my collection and my where I'm like grinding and practicing for next AVC on my alts. Explosive shot damage increased by 20% in PvP. Hunter explosive shot buff. Beast Mastery kill shot buff. That's a 19% buff for kill shot, so it probably will finish people more now. Master Marksman, we see some marksman buffs. I love it. I think this is really good changes as well. Hunter has been a little bit underperforming compared to like the very OP classes like Mage or Augmentation or Windwalker or Rogue. Dampen Harm minimum damage reduction is now 25% for Monk overall. Monk survivability has been overperforming. It's a good change in my opinion. I just started playing my Monk. I grind the gear. We've been practicing already. We've been grinding that Monk for AVC as well. I'm focused on Windwalker, of course, the melee. Then you have Disc Priest buff here. Shield is no longer reduced by 15% in PvP. That's a shield buff. Then you have Ages of Wrath increases power or shield 20%. Overall, I agree on that. Really good change as well for Disc. They needed some help. We move on to Elemental. Lava Burst. Whoa. That's crazy. This is where craziness starts, in my opinion, or continues, because Elemental has been topping the charts, even in PvP already. And now they're getting a huge damage buff, 12% on Lava Burst, that's 14% on Lightning Bolt. Like, Elemental will be dominant, might take over Mage, or Elemental Mage, Elemental Boomy, such comps, Double Caster is gonna dominate again, in my opinion. I see the meta being shifted too much towards RMPs and casters, which I don't like much because I'm a melee player. I'm focused on melees for tournaments and for competitiveness or competitive gaming, or the way I play the game. I mostly play melees. I see casters performing better or getting stronger, and melees is kind of getting adjusted consistently, and it's a holy pally meta mostly, which is really good against melees as well. So it's a bit scary for melees, not gonna lie. Ascendances, immediate damage is reduced by 50%. Yeah, they're nerfing the one shot from enhancement probably here. They've been cheesing the one shot. They're giving more consistent damage with Wind Fury, Storm Strike. It's a good change, but in this meta, same story as the Frost DK. It scares me when they nerf Burst and buff Sustain, because it's a very fast meta, fast-based meta. If you don't have the Burst, you will probably struggle. And enhancement has been not overperforming, kind of like mid of the pack or lower. So we'll see how that goes. Corruption now deals 25 more. It's 25 increased damage in PvP, 15% buff on that. Shadow Bolt. Oh, Affliction, dude. LSD is gonna be crazy. I see LSD being crazy with Ellie or Luck Boomy caster comps again. Affliction getting buffed on Agony, Drain Soul, Oblivion's damage, Demonology also getting buffed, already performing not too bad. Seen it in the AVC. Destruction as well, 15% more in on the Chaos Bolt. All lock specs is gonna be even more good now. Elemental getting buffed. Asa, so I expect something like Asa Affliction to be crazy. Stuff like that. Avatar being nerfed 5% here, but they buffed the consistent damage on the other areas. I again don't like that, because melees is getting nerfed on Burst, getting buffed on Sustain, which makes it more caster dominant meta on a faster based meta. I might be wrong, just my overview. We'll see how that falls out, but this is the changes. Fury, of course, is going to be the dominant spec for the warrior. Onslaught damage is increased by 35%. MPVP was 15%. Execute Fury damage is increased by 40%. So basically Fury is going to be the more dominant spec for sure. And Servo Warrior is already in town. So for me, I love the changes, even though they nerf DK again. As in Holy, I don't see Frost buffs doing much for Frost, so it doesn't change much for Frost. But I also think when we swap the talents, we're still going to be the same with any melee comp that's not a caster. Necrotic Aura targets caster DK comps, which I love playing because we don't get to play that a lot in the past. We were kind of restricted to play with melees. So we'll see how that folds out as well. I tried to go over everything like very quick, very informative, give you my opinion about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this update. I will keep you guys in the loop. For me, as I said, I will be playing DK. Mostly right now we hold rank 1 world, so I'm going to be focusing on my alts grind. I'm going to be playing my Demon Hunter. Ninjantis is back, Servo Warrior is back, and Servo Windwalker is back, and we are practicing all of them at the same time till next ABC or till next adjustment to see what I want to play for ABC. But I want to have the 4 melees collection for now, and maybe add something up later or swap something out in later to practice and trying to win the next one. With that being said, I think that's all, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this update helped you. I hope you understand a bit more about the changes. Love you all. I will see you live on stream. You guys have a good one. Peace out, everybody.